You know what I thought of? I go to the movies every week, so I have to tell you guys what I think. I am back to do another movie review. The movie that I just recently went to go see. If you love action, then this is a movie that you need to see. It is so good, you guys. I'm telling you. Hey, you guys, I am back with another movie review. Now, make sure, as always, you go ahead and like my videos, go ahead and subscribe to my videos, and go ahead and leave me some comments. Let me know if you've seen the movie, a movie you would like me to see, or if you just want to talk about anything pertaining to movies, go ahead and leave that in the comments. Now, the movie I went to go see is Dune. It's based on a remake from 1984, but I also didn't know that it's based on a book from Frank Herbert. Actually, the first part of a book from Frank Herbert. Now, it takes place way in the future, which is like 10,191, and everybody is fighting over this substance called spice. Not the spice that we know about right now, but this is a different type of spice. It is a substance that can be used for so many different things. It reminded me of vibranium that was in Panther, but it can only be found in Wakanda. That's the same way spice is. It can only be found on this desert planet, which is Arrakis. Now, during a royal decree between all the species, it was given control of by Duke Leto. And he was the one that was supposed to make sure everybody got their amount of spice. That sounds so funny saying. But he was basically to make sure that everybody got their fair share of what was supposed to happen because all of them came together. But of course, that's never the case when you're dealing with all kind of different people, species, human or not. That is not the case. So you have the Heracons that wanted to kind of Suge Knight it, they kind of want to take control, but violently take control of this planet. So this is the beginning of a battle that's going to happen between the Heracons and all the other species. Now, this movie, I felt this movie was more of a coming of age movie. I mean, outside of the fact that it's a beautiful set movie, the cinematography is beautiful, their production design, the sound design, even down to their costumes is perfect. I mean, I think they really, really did a good job on that. I mean, it was detailed so much. It was actually believable. It was really believable, you guys, because when I watched Panther, of course I'm going back to Panther again, but when I watched Panther, yes, I wanted to believe that it was a Wakanda found under the waterfall, but then it was certain elements in Wakanda that they didn't show me that didn't make it as believable. Like when they're going to do the fight and they're up there and they're like this and they're way super top, you know, how are you going to see the fight from way up there? That's why I was like, how believable is this? But going back to the movie Dune, I really believed it. I believed that this was a place that had these species. They developed so much of the characters. It made you believe in them. But also there's a drawback to that because when you're developing characters and you're trying to let the audience know what it is you want them to know, you're going to have to do a lot of paying attention. You're going to have to pay attention. I'm talking about no bathroom, nothing, because you might miss something. They're giving you a lot of information. I would say pretty much that first 60 minutes is just about information, their history, their politics, and everything that's regarded with each species to tie them together on why they would want the spice. So that does take a little while to develop, and you really have to be dedicated. You really have to be able to follow it and pay attention. So if you got ADHD, this ain't the movie for you. But it's entertaining, but it's entertaining once it pulls you in and you're already dedicated to the movie, if that makes sense. You've ever watched a movie and you've seen so much of the movie, you have to know what happens. Whether you want to, it's like you have to know what's going to happen. And that is how I felt with watching Dune. It pulls you in so much that even though you've only seen a little bit of action, it pulls you in because you want to know what's going to happen. You want to know, are the Heracons going to be able to strong arm their way and violently take control of the desert island? Or they're going to be diminished. I mean, it's just a lot of different parts of it, and it does take a certain amount of dedication to watch this movie because, like I said, the first 60 minutes, you are required to do a lot of reading, and you're required to pay attention so you can tie everything together. Now, another good thing about this movie, what helps keep your attention, is the fact that it had such a good cast. I mean, you have James Brolin, which is one of my, you know what, you guys thought I was going to say favorite. He's not one of my favorite actors, but I do like him. I do like him. When I see him in a movie, I know the movie's going to be good. So you have James Brolin, you have Eye Candy, of course, but in a different type of way. You do have Aquaman, which is Jason Momoa. So he's playing, you know, the defender. You know, he's playing like one of the army guys. He's like the head of everything. And then you have a lot of good actors, which are young and upcoming. Now, if you have ever seen anything on Disney, or if you have children like I do, and at this era of Disney, it was Shake It Up. Shake It Up starred Bella Thorne and also Zendaya, but Zendaya ended up being the breakout star when they put everything into Bella Thorne. Yes, long story. I have to do a Disney one next, but yes. So the fact that you kept showing me Zendaya, you had me thinking that she was a big part of this movie. She's a big part of this movie, but she's only a big part because of her look. They just keep showing her image in his dreams, and that's fine. I do feel they could have gave her more of a role in it because a lot of her scenes, I do believe, got cut. During the whole movie, all you see is images of her because he keeps saying, I keep having dreams about this woman and I'm supposed to lead them, because Zendaya is part of the Furmans, which is the native species that's on Arrakis. Okay, you go through this whole movie of only seeing her image here and there after he has a dream, to the end, the last 20 minutes, when she only says about 2 or 3 lines. So I was a little disappointed with that because they really show her in the trailers like you're really going to see a lot of Zendaya in the lead, which is Paul, played by Timothée Chalamet. You thought you were going to see like a love story between them, but that's actually not the way it goes. Now, I gave this movie an 8 because I think it's done really, really well. You ever seen something that was done so well, you can't really pick it apart? They put so much time and effort, and they obviously had a really, really big budget for this movie because everything was perfect. The production design, the cinematography, the sound design, even down to the little details in their costumes was perfect. So it was a lot of investment into this movie, and I can see why it shows. It definitely shows. They did not miss one thing. Now, I gave it an 8 instead of a 10 because of that hour investment that I told you about. It's kind of challenging, and the fact that they didn't really use Zendaya. Another thing about this movie is that Paul, which is played by Timothée Chalamet, he is such a great young upcoming actor. He was able to hold this movie together. He was able to keep you invested. He was able to help you see the vision that was going to come later on in the movie. It really shows his acting ability.
You know who you are. Get off me! You did this to me! You Bene Gesserit made me a freak!
If you've ever been on a movie set, you don't just take one take. You're taking like 10 to 15 takes to get that one scene. So the fact that he was that passionate and able to give it so much of what he had in it, that shows right there that he's a good actor. Now I can see why he's won so many awards, you know, a couple of Golden Globe and even an Oscar nomination, and he's barely 25. So that is the part that I liked about it. Another part of the movie that really, really helped me make the score so high is the fact of when he has to fight someone. Of course, yes, this is a spoiler alert because Dune came out a couple weeks ago, and you know my movie reviews, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. So he's challenged by someone who is from the desert island after his father is killed, and he has to fight him, but fight him to the death. And nobody thinks he's ready. I didn't think he was ready. His mom didn't think he was ready. Nobody thought he was ready. I didn't know if they were going to go ahead and kill him off, because now it's past 2 hours. So you know that time is ticking. You ever look at a movie and you don't know what's going to happen, but you look at the time left, you like, somebody going to die. I only got like 10, 15 minutes. Somebody going to die, you know. So I didn't know if he was going to die. But the thing that was so good about it is that he actually won, but he had never killed a man. And the fact that he had to hold in that remorse and hold in that empathy for this man and turn around and look at his people like, yeah, I did that. You know, I love an underdog story, because when he turned around, his face, it said it in his eyes that he had never done that, but I will do that again. So you guys are going to follow me. And he's still a young kid, but he's been trained since he's been a little baby. So I love that part about the movie. I love that. That part in the movie also, that they can do kind of like the Jedi mind trick.
Remove her gag. Kill him!
You know how Yoda was able to tell people, go ahead and do that. He's able to tap into it. So sometimes you have to really, even though you're scared and you have fear, this movie tells you, you know, you have to step up to fear. That fear is nothing but a feeling. He was able to get past that fear. He was able to use that mind control on them. That's what I also liked about it. Now, I didn't give it a full 10, even though I was completely invested, because at the end, it kind of leaves you hanging. It's kind of like a cliffhanger. You don't know what's going to happen, because they barely got to the part of where he is going to lead them, but it sets up for part 2. Even in the beginning part, it says Dune part 1. So you know it's going to be a part 2. So that's the part that I felt a little disappointed about, because I guess it took them so long to develop the story, that world. You're going to like it. And you know what? With that being said, I'll see you next time.